the story of the universe does not start with us. In fact, if you look at the timeline of everything that has ever existed, humans arrive only in the final fraction of a second. To understand our place, we have to go back to when there was nothing. Not the kind of nothing we casually talk about, but an absence so complete there were no atoms, no stars, not even space or time. And then, around 13 to 8 billion years ago, something happened that changed everything. The event we call the Big Bang. But how do we know this? Science gives us a trail of evidence. The farthest galaxy we can observe today is known as GNZ11. Its light takes 13.4 billion years to reach us, meaning when we ceased, we are looking almost to the dawn of time itself. Beyond this, there is no direct light we can see, but there is another clue, one discovered accidentally in 1964. Two scientists, Arnold Penzias and Robert Wilson, were testing a radio antenna when they picked up a strange background signal. No matter where they pointed the antenna, the noise was there. At first they thought it was interference or even pigeon droppings inside the device, but it wasn't. What they had stumbled upon was the cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang itself, radiation left over from when the universe was only 380,000 years old. This discovery won them the Nobel Prize and gave science its strongest confirmation that the universe did, in fact, have a beginning. Yet even here, mysteries remain. That background radiation is almost perfectly uniform across the sky. Too uniform. According to physics, light should not have had enough time to smooth itself out over such vast distances. This puzzle is called the horizon problem. To explain it, scientists proposed a theory called cosmic inflation, the idea that, in the first split second after the Big Bang, the universe expanded faster than the speed of light, stretching tiny fluctuations into the seeds of galaxies. It sounds bizarre, but without it, much of what we observe makes little sense. Still, this is only one side of the story. Long before telescopes and Nobel Prizes, ancient civilizations asked the same questions in different ways. Where did everything come from, and who or what set it into motion? In Mesopotamia, over 3,000 years ago, the Enuma Elish tablets described creation beginning when there was no sky, no earth, only endless water. The Sumerians, often called the first civilization, wrote of a primeval sea goddess named Namu, from whom heaven and earth emerged. The Egyptians spoke of Nun, a boundless watery chaos from which the first land rose. Even cultures separated by oceans, from Aboriginal Australians to the Cherokee of North America, preserve stories of creation linked to water, order, and divine command. These myths are not science, but the similarities are striking. Civilizations separated by thousands of miles and centuries of time still describe beginnings with recurring themes: emptiness, water, separation of sky and earth, and a force or a word that triggered creation. Whether coincidence or echo of a deeper truth, these accounts show us that humanity has always wrestled with the same question: how does something come from nothing? And so, our journey begins. On one side, we have the measurements of modern science: galaxies, background radiation, cosmic inflation. On the other, the ancient voices, insisting that before creation there was void, there was water, and there was a command. In the next part, we will examine where these stories and the evidence meet, and where they break apart. Because if the Big Bang was the beginning, then the real mystery is not just how it happened, but what, if anything, came before it. If we follow the evidence back far enough, science tells us that the universe began in an incredibly hot, dense state. For the first fraction of a second, less than a trillionth of a second, space itself expanded at unimaginable speed. This period of cosmic inflation explains why the universe looks so uniform today, while still containing tiny irregularities that would later form galaxies, stars, and planets. When the universe cooled enough, matter and light separated, leaving behind the cosmic microwave background radiation that we can still measure today. But science, as powerful as it is, runs into problems. The horizon problem, as mentioned before, is one of them. Another is the flatness problem. The universe appears to be balanced so precisely between eternal expansion and collapse that it seems almost fine-tuned. Even the smallest change in those first seconds would have made life impossible. Then there is the mystery of dark matter and dark energy, which together make up about 95% of the universe, yet we cannot see or directly measure them. In other words, most of reality is invisible to us. Here lies the challenge. Science is only a few centuries old compared to the span of human history. Its tools are powerful, but they are limited to what can be measured and tested. Beyond those boundaries, questions remain unanswered. What existed before the Big Bang? Why does the universe obey laws that seem so precise? Why is there something rather than nothing? These questions are not new. Civilizations long before modern science also searched for explanations. In 1849, archaeologists unearthed the Babylonian creation epic, the Enuma Elish, written on 7 clay tablets over 3,000 years ago. The text describes a time when no sky or earth existed, only water and chaos. From that, order and creation emerged. What makes these accounts remarkable is not their accuracy in scientific terms, but their similarity. Separated by oceans and centuries, they return again and again to the same themes. Water before creation, a sky and earth divided, and a higher power or command that brought everything into existence. Some details may sound like mythical crows assisting in creation, or golden chains holding the earth, but when stripped of symbolism, the core ideas echo across time. So where science runs into paradoxes and limits, ancient knowledge offers patterns. Neither is complete. But when both are placed side by side, they invite a deeper question. Are these recurring stories fragments of an older truth, preserved in myth until science could begin to measure it? In the next part, we will examine where religion enters the discussion not only as belief, but as a body of claims about the origin of the universe. And we will test those claims, separating what can withstand evidence from what cannot. Because if we are searching for the real story of creation, we must compare every voice, scientific, ancient, and religious. When science reaches its limits, religion often steps in with answers. Across the world's major faiths, creation is described as an act of divine will. Judaism, one of the oldest Abrahamic religions, teaches that God created the heavens and the earth. Yet its early writings describe a flat world floating on water, with paradise above and the underworld beneath. Christianity expands on this narrative, insisting creation happened only 6,000 to 7,000 years ago, with the sun, moon, and stars placed around Earth. But here lies a conflict. If this account were taken literally, the light from galaxies billions of light years away like GNZ11 should never have reached us. Greek philosophy added its own imagery. They described the Milky Way as the milk of a goddess spilled across the heavens. Hinduism, Jainism, and Buddhism went further, suggesting the universe had no beginning or end, that it was eternal. Yet this clashes with modern observations. Galaxies are not static. They are moving apart at incredible speeds. The universe is expanding, which strongly implies a beginning. When tested against observable reality, many of these ancient and religious claims break down. A flat Earth is disproven by satellites and space travel. A universe only a few thousand years old cannot explain galaxies billions of light years away. A goddess's spilled milk is poetic, but not evidence. These contradictions do not erase the cultural or spiritual value of the stories, but they remind us that human attempts to explain creation have often mixed truth with imagination. Yet one religion stands out for making claims that invite closer examination: Islam. 14 centuries ago, the Quran described the heavens and the earth as once being joined together before being separated, a description that strongly resembles the modern understanding of cosmic expansion. It speaks of all living things being created from water, a statement confirmed by biology today. The Quran also distinguishes different measures of time, a day equal to 1,000 years in one verse, and 50,000 in another, an idea strikingly close to modern relativity, where time is not fixed, but changes depending on conditions. Of course, interpretation matters. Religious texts were not written as physics manuals, and scientists must test claims through evidence, not faith. Still, when a text written centuries ago aligns with modern discoveries, it raises questions worth considering. Was it coincidence, interpretation after the fact, or a fragment of truth preserved long before humans had the instruments to measure it? This brings us to the edge of the unknown. Science gives us the Big Bang, cosmic inflation, and the afterglow of radiation. Ancient civilizations give us recurring themes of water, separation, and command. Religions give us divine agency and timelessness. But none can yet answer the ultimate question: what caused the Big Bang itself? Why did something emerge from nothing? Here, Every system of thought, scientific, mythological, and religious, faces the same horizon. Science says we cannot see before the first fractions of a second. Ancient myths stop at the moment of command or creation. Religion says it was the will of God, often expressed as a word, be, and it is. Beyond this boundary, speculation begins, but certainty vanishes. So where does that leave us? With a universe that is vast, mysterious, and still expanding. With evidence that the cosmos has a beginning, but not yet a clear explanation of what triggered it. And with humanity's unbroken habit of searching through stories, scriptures, and equations for the meaning of existence. This is not the end of the journey. It is only the first chapter. In the episodes ahead, we will dive deeper into the nature of time itself, the architecture of galaxies, the strange behavior of black holes, and the question of whether we are alone. Because the universe is not only out there, it is also inside us, written in our atoms, our myths, and our questions. And as long as those questions remain, the story of creation is still being told.